afternoon, Dr. Punani. I welcome you to the ADCLOD podcast series with Social Impact Founders, initiative by the Ashank Desai Centre for Leadership and Organisational Development at IIM Ahmedabad, where we document and celebrate the leadership journeys of India's homegrown social entrepreneurs who have built impactful institutions from the ground up. In today's episode, we have the privilege of speaking with Dr. Bhushan Punani, a distinguished alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad, class of 1979, who made his own director at IIMA at that time say that he took a leap in the dark. While his batchmates headed to corporate careers, Dr. Punani chose to join the Blind People's Association in Ahmedabad, then a small blind school with barely 90 staff members. Over the next 4.5 decades, 45 years, Dr. Punani transformed BPA into one of India's largest and most comprehensive disability development organization, with 17 campuses across Gujarat and Rajasthan, 18 vision centers, an eye hospital, an assistive technology museum, and services reaching tens of thousands of persons with disabilities every year. Dr. Punani holds a PhD and LLB from Gujarat University and has trained in vocational rehabilitation at Haifa University, Israel. He has received the Helen Keller Award, the IIM Ahmedabad Distinguished Alumnus Award, the National Leadership Singhania Award. He currently serves as Vice President of the International Council for Education of Persons with Visual Impairment globally and is a member of the Election Commission of India's Advisory Committee on Accessible Elections. Dr. Punani, welcome to our podcast. It is indeed a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much, Neharika ma'am. My pleasure indeed.
It's an honor to talk to you. Yes. So, Dr. Punani, let's get into the conversation right away. We would like to first receive a picture from you what BPA looks like today. We heard that you joined it when it had 90 staff members and a very small presence. We'd like to hear what its scale is, the range of disabilities you serve, your campuses, the nature of your team, and how the organization is funded at this point.
I'm very privileged to share with you that the Blind People's Association, I'll address as BPA, is the largest NGO in the disability sector in India today. While our name is Blind People's Association, it works for people with all categories of disabilities, which are 21 as per the new law. And we work in every dimensions of disability development. And we are very fortunate that we have now 18 campuses, which include 3 eye hospitals, then additional 18 vision centers scattered all over Gujarat and Rajasthan. Then we have 33 daycare centers, and now we are going ahead with taking over a few organizations scattered across Gujarat, and then every district under the banner of National Association for the Blind, we have a district branch. So this organization has a network of eye care organization, orthopedic hospitals, schools, inclusive education, support services, daycare centers, vision centers, and anything else which happens for the people with disabilities. It's a very simple, down-to-earth organization. And the best part is that we have the privilege of being one of the most transparent organizations in the country. In fact, we have been conducting a few seminars for the other NGOs that how you should do the statutory compliance to the level of 100%. And still, we are a very fast expanding organization because we want to reach more and more people with disabilities across the state of Gujarat and in Rajasthan, while our own Karam Bhumi is Gujarat and part of Rajasthan. But as far as consultancy, counseling, advice, assessment, program management, technical support, capacity building goes, we have been working in all over India, many parts of India, South Asia, and also part of Africa. And under the banner of ICVI, which you mentioned, we promote education in many parts of the world.
Very interesting. So, there was from where you started to where you have reached today. So, what is the staff size today, and how large is the organization in terms of the people who serve you, people who are part of this organization, and also where do you get the funds from for this organization?
Actually, we have four categories of staff. One is that all the projects which are under grant in aid of the government of Gujarat, other government, they are called the granted aid staff. Then we employ a lot of staff for our direct programs, and now we have a lot of volunteers. And then there are a lot of visiting faculty for all our professional programs. If all put together, our own staff, including the grant staff, is around 400, scattered all over Gujarat and Rajasthan. Plus, we have a very large number of volunteers, mostly people who are retired or who are not in other profession, but very experienced people who come and work as volunteers. And now we retain a lot of people post-retirement. And their number is quite sizable, and that's increasing. So basically, we try to see that we have a variety of staff which has the right qualification, right frame of mind, right experience, and has a lot of sense of dedication, devotion, and is willing to work on not a very high salary, on a very modest salary. So most of our people fall in that category. And basically, when it comes to funding, a very interesting question. Was for any NGO, always we think that government is the biggest source of money. In case of BPA, we have proved no. Government is definitely a very important source of money. You can get the government grant. But if you want to be sustainable, if you want to be ever growing, if you want to really make the dent over the objectives you have in the area of work, you need to have multiple sources of funding. BPA, right from beginning, early 80s, started raising money from public. So our biggest sources of money include, of course, government is a very important source of money. Granted aid program, wherever government money is available, we do take it because that's the money which is rightful ours. Second, we have gone in a very big way for public donations. As our concept has a lot of public appeal, people do come and support our activities. Then thirdly, which is now a very big source, is the CSR. This is corporate social responsibility. We have 96 partners, 96 companies which are supporting our programs in one or other way. Just to clarify, the CSR money is for the direct spending. That money is not for our administration or expansion. This is for direct giving to the people which are identified by the supporting company. And the fourth and very important source which is growing is our internal funds. We have corpus funds, we have specific funds, we have individual corpus fund. We make the investments and get money out of that. And also we have a range of products. We make furniture, caliper, crutches, walkers, wheelchair, and many assistive devices, which we sell, not at profit, but we do recover our overheads and our costs. So all put together, but the latest source of money, which is becoming very viable, is the online fundraising. I must tell that we are very successful. We are on almost all the leading online sites, including Global Giving, Give India, etc. And the people sitting any part of the world, if they're willing to support us, they can use the online platform and can support us.
Wow. So two things that are coming to me from this description that you have given to me is one, I hear that it's a very complex organization in terms of people, right? You have people who are grant-in aid, people who are just for a program, then there are volunteers, then there are retired people. So it takes a lot of management depth, I think, to manage and get the best out of all of these different kinds of people. You can't just have one way of managing everybody. And similarly, in terms of money as well, it seems very complex because there is money that you're getting to be able to support the beneficiaries, and there's money that you need to run the operations and expand the operations. So again, you need a fairly sophisticated management depth to be able to do all of that. And at some point, we'd really like to talk about your view on that, right? How do you manage? What kind of people you have to manage all of this is something that we'd really like to hear, because this podcast is effectively on trying to understand the leadership challenges of managing a social impact organization, where it's not just one kind of people and one kind of organization and one kind of vision that we are looking at. So that's something that I'd really like to talk to you about. We can do it now or we can do it later. That's up to you.
Yeah, we can. In fact, it's a very, very pertinent question, because in any case, NGO system in India is very complex. That too, when we work for all the dimensions of disability, including prevention and healthcare, and also advocacy, and then go to capacity building, and you're concerned with the families and the parents. But the good part is, thanks to IIM and my colleagues' academic background, we develop a very beautiful model. And the model is to be understood that we are very centralized on the top. When it comes to our top model, we are very, very centralized. We have 5 directors, including deputy directors, who are assigned a very definite responsibility. For example, there's a director for project management, there's a director for education, director for fundraising, director for support services. They're fully centralized. So all areas which pertain to their area of work, they have a team of people. And the moment you go from the top model to the next model, is completely decentralized. There's a different division for everything. For example, education. So school is managed by a principal. So principal is concerning only the school management. He is not concerned about the resource mobilization or fee collection or the accounting. He is responsible only for school management. Rest of support services are left to the top people and the support people. So that model of having totally centralized structure at the top and decentralized when you go down the line has helped us to manage these projects very well. Second thing, there's a lot of decentralization and assigning of responsibilities. For example, we have projects everywhere. There are more than 40 locations where we have our own activities. So the person in charge of that location is responsible for everything, including the funds management, but not responsible for raising the money and for accounting of the money. That is done by the central team. But day-to-day work, performance, everything is done by the person in charge. And fortunately, for every location, we have an independent person who is very experienced, well-trained, qualified, and is very dependable and has a very high sense of dedication, devotion, and that keeps us going. When it comes to having multiple sources of funding, technology is to our benefit. We use Tally for our accounting management. We use a special software for reporting. For our hospitals, we have a very special software developed by Arvind Eye Hospital, supported by Seva International. So every medical system is managed under a software. Every accounting system is managed under a software. Our HR is also managed through a special software. So we know who's working where, what are the salaries, what are the payments. And then we believe in timeline for statutory compliances. There's a person responsible who will maintain all the timelines for all type of compliances. So there are no delays, there are no penalties, there are no jumping over of the dates. So that keeps us going. And the most important thing I'd like to mention that we are one of the few NGOs which has gone for investment planning, which has gone for a very, very sound, well-developed investment management. So this is public money. It's money we have to use for the public good. So if we invest our money is better and we can get better returns and spend better money. And another thing which is very unique about Blind People's Association is that we don't spend money on creating infrastructure or the buildings. We'll construct a building only when we have dedicated resources available for that. No money comes from the working capital or from our investment for expanding our campuses. When I'm talking to you, for next 5 years, we already have plans of spending more than 50 crores on our new construction which are coming up. But this we will undertake only when we have the assured funding or likely to be assured funding. So that keeps us going. So I cannot block my money, working capital for creating a new campus. But at the same time, we have to create a new campus. But for that, we work in the reverse order. We raise the money, we go for the commitment, and then start the construction.
So, two or three principles that I'm hearing you say. One, try to minimize the overheads or focus on what is the most important thing. That is service to the beneficiaries of of the organization. The second thing I'm hearing you say is that everyone does what they are best at doing and not spreading themselves out too thin by doing everything or anything that is required by the organization. And you basically have a structure and technology which supports you to be able to do all of this. Does that sound right?
Yes, no doubt about that. Well, there's only one addition that in our case, we don't have staff turnover. We have been very fortunate. Anybody who joins BPA mostly joins for life. I keep meeting a lot of organizers. The biggest problem is staff joining and leaving. They are very, very high staff turnover. But BPA has a great history of people joining and continuing till they are able to do that. To support that, Madam, we have done a very beautiful thing. I want other NGOs also to understand that we have post-retirement policy. Because these days, with better longevity and better health, people don't need to retire at 58, 60, 65 because they are very, very functional. So we have a very well-developed policy that if you are a good worker, if you are performing well, your areas are, commitment and all is appreciated by the organization, you wish to continue. Even post-retirement, for 2 years, you continue in the same salary as you were at 58. Then we go for the 50% of your salary as on. And there also we keep on increasing by 10% every year. But once you are 65, you get the same. It's a very well-developed policy. And because of that, you'll be surprised, the staff motivation, staff involvement, staff commitment was manifold. Because everybody post-retirement, what they should do. Everybody has a fear, oh my goodness, what I shall do if I have nothing to do. Whereas in case of BPA, till physically you are fit, till mentally you are sound and you are able to perform, BPA has a place for you. And that has made a very big difference to the growth of our organization.
So, this is very interesting because you're saying people don't leave. I mean, you've been here for 45 years. You yourself are role modeling that. And your team stays. And one of the things you're saying is what you promise to them after retirement. And of course, it's not just a promise, it's what you will offer to them. Are there any other things that you think can explain this complete lack of or very low attrition in the organization? Because I think this is a useful lesson in every organization.
What we do is, we don't advertise any position. We don't go for paper advertisement. We have a very different system of taking the middle level people. So we invite the students for placement from various institutes, social work, education, law, management. So when they will come for placement with us, so we observe their performance. If anybody who's working with us and fits into our type of organization and we have a slot available, we offer them. We tell them we'll take you as a management training or a social work training for a year. We'll give you some fixed salary, say 20,000, 30,000, whatsoever, depending on your qualification. After that, we'll evaluate your performance and then go for your job. But we do a very beautiful thing, that we try to find a slot in the best of the institutes in the world where we can train those people. And you'll be very glad that we have trained most of our people in the finest institutes and universities in the world. They've gone to America, they've gone to Japan, they've gone to many countries. And because of that, see, everybody says, if you send somebody abroad, you need a bond. We don't take a bond. We don't go for a legal instrument. This is up to you. If you are happy with us, and if after that knowledge you wish to continue, you are placed with us. And if any case, if you don't want to continue, our philosophy is that knowledge is not lost. Anywhere else, the person will go and use that knowledge. But the very surprising thing is, which I am very proud, nobody ever has left us after this training. They have been trained in the finest of the institutes, like Perkins International Institute, which is the finest institute in the world today. In Boston, we have trained 10 people. We have sent people to Japan. We have sent to UK. We have sent to Norway, Netherlands. All those very outstanding institutes with understanding, because they were specially picked by us. We were confident that they're the right people. The moment we send them, we train them, and during the training, we take care of all expenses. We find the scholarship, all expenses are taken care, and the moment they come back, wherever they were working, in the same slot, they are fitted with the more responsibility. That's one. And second, we have a lot of refresher courses. We send people for the short courses. For example, our ophthalmic team, we are tied with the Seva International of USA and Arvind Eye Hospital in Madurai and hospital in Pune. So we keep sending our staff on regular basis for short courses because there are better places. There are places which have better modules and training available. Sometimes we do spend money also. We sponsor them and they come back well motivated. And thirdly, now we are sending people for conferences, seminars, presentations, and we take care of their expenses. And fourthly, now we are reversing the table. Now we are convening the National and International Conference at BPA or hosted by BPA. Because of that, a lot of people from around the globe come to present where our people also participate, and that keeps them motivated, and that's why we don't have staff turnover.
So again, very interesting. You invest in their education, you trust them, and you constantly hope and show them opportunities to grow and develop. And that becomes a motivator for people to stay in the organization. Also, very often, especially when we read and we hear from different people say that they leave because they don't like their bosses or they don't like the culture and climate within the organization. So how do anything that you'd like to share around that? Because obviously people like each other.
We believe in a collective culture. It's not the culture which we impose. We pick up the, we should say collective values of the people. And we respect, one beautiful thing we do is we look at the strength of the people, not of the weakness of people. We try to reinforce their strength and try to put them in a slot which matches very well with their strength. And number two, we do not enforce any very strict rules and regulations. You can do this, you cannot do this. Anything which is good for the organization, anything which is good for your project, your area, you are most welcome to experiment. See, you give freedom to people to work. If you restrict them, you can do this, you cannot do this. That takes away the creativity, innovativeness of the people. Everybody has different thoughts. We cannot say that what we think or what I think is ultimate. No. What people think, what potential they identify themselves, if they use that, that makes a very big difference. That's why, and second thing, you don't have to keep on creating a lot of pressure over the people. You don't have to keep them always stressed. Ye nahi hua, wo nahi hua, ye target tha, ye nahi hua. You give them freedom, give them space, and there are sometimes people who are non-performance, and fortunately for us, when people identify that they cannot fit into our type of slot, they cannot meet our type of demands, mostly before we progress too much, they find other slots. I'm talking the people who have been trained by us, who have been motivated by us, who have been selected by us. Once they've gone through the whole process, very rarely, that means we have been very lucky to select the right of people, or maybe people have been very good and they selected us out of choice. We don't have the job seekers here. We don't have the people who want a job and that's why they come here. We have the people who want to do something for the community, something for the special people with the special needs, and that makes a difference. And just to add here, many of the people, either they are the siblings with people with disabilities, or they're the parents, or there's somebody in the family who has gone through this experience. Such people have more, I should say, emotional content. They accept it better. So those type of people fit in far better than somebody who has no exposure at all.
That is very interesting. Is almost a personal reason for being there, which also brings me to a question that the founder, Mr. Jagdish Patel, self had he lost his sight when he was 8, and he founded this in 1954. And when you arrived in 1979, you inherited his vision. We would like to hear from you how the founder's vision has an imprint on how the organization still runs.
First of all, Jagdish Patel and his whole team were a very dedicated group of people. He himself was a person with vision impairment. He lost his hearing also. In the later years, he was in the wheelchair also, but he never lost courage. He had very high spirits. He was a man with a lot of magnanimity, lot of vision, and he was a very well qualified person. He went to UK for his blind administrator program. He was a graduate, and you'll be all surprised. He was the leading physiotherapist of Ahmedabad. He was running a clinic called Medico Massage in Cardia, and he was a very popular name. And he used his profession not for personal gains. He used his profession for developing an organization. Give a small example. We went to Arvind Lalbhai, who became president subsequently. He told Arvind Bhai, can you support me? I want to start a small organization. And you already have a kingdom. You are chairman of Arvind Mills Limited that time. So how can you help me? Then he was the president of the Lions Club of Ahmedabad. First time in the history of our development, Lions Club Ahmedabad gave us 25,000 rupees way back in 1964, which is equivalent to many crores today, as the money for starting the first building. The first building, which you call building number 7, came up with that money. And Arvind Lalbhai, I must mention, he was one of the greatest persons I have ever met. A man with so much wealth, was so humble, down to earth, and such an honest and dedicated person, who was chairman of FICCI and also very respected. We call them Shresthi in Gujarat. And he had it organization for 40 years. Then other people like Nandiman Munsha, Priyakant Bhai, her husband, and then Indradhan Pranlal Shah, Manubhai Shisha of Consumer Movement. All these were the very leading citizens, and they were giving their Niskam service. So they set the ball rolling. When I joined in 79, so already it was a school for the blind, workshop for the blind. We had a administrative committee, we had executive board, we had a general body, and it was a very respected organization. But just because Jagdish Patel himself was a great leader and with great vision, so he brought in people like me, Nandini Rawal, and many other professionals like Vimal Thawani. They all are qualified people, and also brought Hansa Trivedi, and all those people became the backbone of the organization. All of the young people, well-qualified people, just because we all were working collectively for a mission. We all were being guided by one group of people. And I must mention here, they gave us a lot of freedom. They gave us a lot of space. We all were young, just out of the college. We didn't have any experience at all. And coming and heading the organization and having freedom to do the things, spend the money, start the program, raise the money, and go for new campus, go for new construction, and have the new staff. And sometimes we didn't have money to pay the salary, but still we kept on recruiting people. We said, no, some invisible power will support us, and that happened. And because of, and I must mention, which is very important for any organization, the team spirit at the top, which makes a very big difference. Unless you are very cohesive, you are very close to each other, you are working as a very strong team. No formula, no management education can help anyone. It's the teamwork, is the question of collective sense of dedication, collective, working for a cause that makes a very big difference. And BP has been very fortunate. There has been great unity, great understanding, great interpersonal relations at the top. We are one of the few organizations where there has never been a power struggle, there has never been a conflict. Of course, there can be a difference of opinion. One cannot say there is no difference. There can be, and there should be, and there has been. But in Hindi, we call it matbhed to tha. We had difference of opinion, but not the difference of power struggles. So that made a very big difference. And all these people I name, and many more, which were behind the curtain, they helped us to shape this organization into the entity which it is today.
So, very often we say that the founder's vision has a very long shadow, and I can see that happening. And also what you just described is very fascinating, that what happens at the top also defines how people in the rest of the organization behave, and they have role modeled for them. And the other thing that I hear you say very often, and I just want to put a word to it, is the generosity of spirit, right? The whole idea is not to be, not to control, but to be generous in whatever, whether treating employees, whether looking at our beneficiaries, whether working for the people. That also is something that has possibly left an imprint on how the organization runs today. Okay, so I know I'm taking the conversation in multiple directions. One of the things that we would also like to hear from you is, how do you see that, what has been the impact of the work that has been done by this organization? from 58,000 tricycles that were distributed, 400 plus blind physiotherapists that you have trained, India's first accessible ATM with the Union Bank. We'd like to hear how you personally assess BPA's impact.
See, first of all, just to come to the first point, we all were working for a cause. That's where we are different than a corporate. There you work for the profit, and we work for the human gains. Our targets are very different than elsewhere. We are all working for the single target, how to reach more and more people. When it comes to assessing the impact, I'm very fortunate. We established one thing very important, which I'll be very honest and very candid about that. Even in today's world, if you are honest, you are transparent, where every penny is accounted for, when you do everything within the legal framework, when you adhere to all the statutory compliances, still you survive and grow. BPA has established one very beautiful thing, that you can be 100% transparent. You can be 100% accountable. You can be 100% visible. But if you're working for a cause, people will come and support you. And third and very important thing, BPA has established that you have to be innovative. You have to keep on thinking about the new thoughts and new ideas. You cannot just continue with the traditional wisdom and traditional thought. You have to think of, for example, we brought in the concept called community-based rehabilitation. People didn't like when we started it. When we presented a paper that how can we spend so much money on training one individual? Why can't we go to community? Instead of people coming to us, we go to them. We identify them, we assess them, we evaluate them, we train them, we enable them, we empower them. And it was a very difficult concept, but I'm very glad it picked up and it became one of the largest programs ever launched in any part of the world. And we covered 500,000 people with disabilities across the length and breadth of this country under a consortium of funding organizations and with a consortium of working organizations. That's one. Second, when we said, why you should own everything? Right. We have 18 campuses, but we have more than 150 organizations which were our partners. Instead of rebuilding our capacity, we should build the capacity of other organizations. And most of the organizations are headed by people with disabilities themselves, their families, or their well-wishers, or the parents. So instead of we becoming a very mighty, powerful organization, we should go for a spread out. We should identify the local organization, give them the support, give them technical know-how, give them anything they want, all the software and also the hardware for their development. And that has proved very useful. See, we don't have to cling everything to our chest and do everything ourselves. No. We can ask others to do that. And fourth and very important thing, that we are an NGO. But I'm very, very glad today we are a pro-government NGO. And we very proudly we say that BPA is a pro-government organization. And I like to justify that because any NGO can become very large, very big, can do everything, but no NGO can draft the law. No NGO can implement the law. No NGO can make the policy. No NGO can have a mega project which runs across the country. That's done only by the government. Unless you get into the government system, unless you sit with the people who have the power, who have the influence and who have the responsibility and motivate them, guide them, enable them, encourage them, give them the right information. It's like, Chakravyuh. You have to go like an Abhimanyu. You have to go into the Chakravyuh and see that you break that old system and bring them to the new awakening. And BPA has been doing that. And I'm very glad that BPA had the privilege of working on almost every committee of this country, which was formed by different ministries and different systems, be it a law drafting committee, and be it a planning commission, or be it a national monitoring committee on education, or the committee on skill development, committee on rural development, committee on inclusion, committee on assistive devices, committee on science and technology. We had the privilege of working with Dr. Abdul Kalam and many other dignitaries because we believed in our strength, but their collective wisdom. If we all work together and if you change the system, we don't have to go and work for a few hundred people and be happy. We have to change the system. That's why even today, while we are a pro-government organization, we do a lot of advocacy. We go to the court of law. We tell the people, you look, this is your mandate. You're supposed to implement. If you're not implementing, we'll definitely get the court order and see that we bend the arm and we see that things are happening. So it's a mix of, bringing a lot of transparency, accountability, and then going into government system and enabling the system and being a pro-government, still a watchdog to see that things are implemented. And I think that's a very significant contribution which the BPA team has made to this country and the field of disability development.
Very, very, very interesting. I think what you're saying is, look, if we really want to unlock value, we have to work with the government. If we really want to do scale and we really want to make an impact, we have to both be the watchdog and the partner to government to help them do the right thing. And I think that is a very good lesson, because very often there is this thing about, maybe I cannot work with the government if I am in this space. And I think you have your organization, and you have demonstrated that if you really want large scale changes, you have to work with them and not against them in that sense. And not necessarily for them, but with them becomes very important.
Exactly.
Also, very often, and this is something that I have read and seen a lot in the NGO social impact world, is that they say that the funders sometimes take you on a different path because they have a certain requirement or they have a certain thing that they think is important, and they might take you on that path. Has that happened in BPA? And if it has, how have you steered back to your...
Actually, it depends on the type of organization you work for. In our case, our biggest advantage is we are working for a cause. We are working with people who are downtrodden, who are the marginalized group of people. Most of funders which work in our area, not the corporate type of funders. They are not the funders with some definite or hidden agenda or objective. Type of funders in my field are mostly the parents, the organization. For example, take example, Side Saver, which is the large funder from UK, IBM large funder from Germany.
Yes.
So these are the organizations started by people with disabilities themselves. Sir John Wilson, who started Side Savers, himself was a person with blindness. So most of founders of CBM were themselves the missionaries, and they are working for a cause. So once you have funding partners who are themselves working for a cause, they don't have hidden agenda. Number two, most of people who come to fund our program, they're not looking for any tangible gains for themselves or for their shareholders or their company. They are looking for social impact. And thirdly, if we are very clear that we want funding for a particular purpose and we don't want funding for our administration, funding for our people or paying the salary of the people, they also realize that we are not the right organization where they can bend our arm, because they know that we are the well-meaning group of people who believe in the cause. Fortunately for us, we never had any experience of such a funder who wanted to dictate the terms or wanted to do things their way. Most of our funders, if you see our annual report, they are the organizations by themselves. They are the working for a definite cause which resembles our cause. So we have been very lucky. And second thing, we identify the need. We assess the need. We prepare the plan. We prepare the program. And we go to funder, look, this is our need. Are you willing to meet that requirement? Are you willing to fund that program? We don't go to them and tell them, what do you want to do? Because we know our friend need better. Same we are doing for CS. We go to the website of a company, but we don't go to an unknown company. We don't say, no, you are doing this, we want to do this. No. We go to the group of people who want to work for the disability sector, who are very, very genuine companies, who believe in well spending their money, and that we are not, just to mention, not to hide from the people who are listening to me, there are a lot of NGOs which have a certain arrangement that you give this money and this money will be given back. I'm very proud, and I like to go on record. BPA is one of the few organizations which has never ever done anything which is against the law, customs, traditions or the ethics. We always work only for the projects and areas which are very ethical, where the money is spent in the right manner. I am accountable to give you all the reports. If I'm spending the money well, I don't want the money which can be spent in a wrong way. And that my trustees, my senior team, all my directors, we have the same frame of mind. We will not take a single rupee from anyone where the money has to spend in a wrong way. We will take only and only, we call it a good money, the pious money, the money which has to be spent for a purpose and for a definite goal. We get a lot of offers. आपको केवल हम लोग आपको धन्यवाद करेंगे. At the most, we'll have a cup of tea or go for a press release. Nothing more than that. And that has kept BPA a very secured, very progressive, and I should say very honest and a down-to-earth, dedicated organization.
Right. No, this is such it's music to ears to hear that. And I think it gives a lot of hope to all of our listeners that it's possible to be honest and it's possible not to be arm-twisted if you yourself remain clear in what you want and how you want it. One other question that I have is, how do you ensure that persons with disabilities retain ownership and voice in the organization's direction as well? Because we are doing it for them. So how do we make sure that their voice is always also represented and heard and counts?
We have very certain principles which we follow. For example, in our organization, the key positions have to be held only by people with visual impairment, is being the vice president and secretary of the organization. And then all our branches, which are under the banner of National Association for the Blind, every district by a branch. And this is an unwritten law, a rule. The general secretary has to be a person with visual impairment, which we follow very strictly. And we encourage now also gender balance, people with disabilities. And second thing, wherever we work, we prefer the organization of the people with disabilities. We try to motivate them, encourage them. For example, today my team has gone to Jaipur, gone to Pune, gone to Ujjain. So we'll identify the organizations which are working for, which are set up by people with disabilities themselves. And they are managing the local show. We encourage them, we support them. And third and very important thing, we follow all our meetings, our executive committee, general body, in a very religious manner. Nothing just meeting karna hai to kar diya. No. There has to be agenda, there has to be discussion, there has to be minutes, there has to be follow-up, there has to be action taken report, and all that keeps our members engaged and involved. Then we have WhatsApp group, we have e-group, and where we keep on sharing all the information. And now most important thing, most of our literature is in the accessible format. Our website, our newsletter, our invitations go in accessible format so that people with vision impairment can directly read on WhatsApp, on email, or on using NVDA software. So that keeps us engaged. But I do agree that every organization must have very active, meaningful, result-oriented involvement of the stakeholders.
That's a key principle, I think. So I think couple of questions about you now, because I think you've been here for 45 years. You must, if you think about what are 2 or 3 things that you could have done differently when you look back at your career, that's one question I want to ask. And the other I want to ask is, how are you looking at the future? So I want to ask you both, in hindsight and...
Firstly, I'm happy what I did. Only thing is, could have been more happy if it had created organization with a very fast growth. We have been growing at a slow pace. Our rate of growth has been 18% per annum, which is not so, it's very good, but not so good. We have not been doubling every year because we have maintained a very slow pace. And second thing, where if I look back, could be that we would have done better if there was more remote area penetration, more participation of people down the line, and having a system where it's not the money which is a limiting factor, the need of the people. We need to do more assessment and go for more need-based programs. We did for many years, we are confined only to Ahmedabad. Then we realized, no, there are millions of people who will never come to Ahmedabad, who will never come to Gujarat, unless we go to them. Now we are reversing the table for last 10 years, now in small places in Kutch and Sabarkantha, Banaskantha, and now so many other places in tribal belt. We are putting up small centers. We call them daycare centers, where we create a small minuscule BPA in a one small cluster. That correction we are doing, but I wish we could have done it manual. And second thing, I told you about the concept of CBR.
Okay.
Concept was very good. It did a lot of very good things, but unfortunately, it was not very sustainable. Because we were identifying, we was very important. We were raising money, we are going to community. I think if we have to look back, if the model was twisted, instead of we doing, it was done by the community itself. It was their program. It was their initiative. We could have waited for the community to come up with the initiative and then support them. So now we are trying to correct that. And if I see the future, today morning I was talking to a group. There are 5 things which are really changing all the future perspective. One is technology. If we adopt the technology in a better way, for example, from this year, 2025-26, every education at BPA will be digital. Now, every student in our institute has to use the digital means for education. We could have done it 5 years before. But now, Jagya Tyarti Savar, when you wake up, you make a new beginning. So we have started this. Number 2, there are a lot of assistive devices which can change the life of people. Now we're going for technology and devices in a very big way. Number 3, we call it inclusivity. That means instead of we working for people with disabilities, we should change the system. We should make the system inclusive. We should not fit people with disability to the system. We should fit system to the people with disability. So the second part, we realize now in all the new mandates, new laws, new judgments, we are trying inclusivity as the big approach. And thirdly, and very important, that instead of we confining to disability area, are we confining only disability organization? Why can't we open up to the whole world? Why we want be a development organization per se, where everybody has a chance to grow? And to correct that, for last 3 years, we arranged the statutory compliance workshop for all the NGOs in Gujarat. We invite them, we sit with them, we guide them. What are your obligations? What are your responsibilities? What are the legal mandates you have which you have to fulfill? That we started doing. And fourth and very important, we have the laws. We have the part of the law framing committees and we have framed the laws. But many laws are still not being implemented very well. Still they're not as effective they should have been. Now we have advocacy division. We are trying to see that what laws have been framed, those must be respected, those must be implemented, those must reach the people. And last and more important, while we have a number of schemes, number of programs, there's a lack of public awareness. A lot of people who should get the benefit, who should get the services, are not even aware. What are their rights? What are their privileges? What are the benefits, concessions available to them? What are their entitlements? Now we are trying to use media. We are very strong in social media now, and we are also using the print media in a very, very powerful way, very planned way. We are also in the electronic media. And recently, we motivated the PM office to go for films on accessibility. 9 films have been made. They have been shown world over. We are trying to use media more proactively, and wherever any organization like Voice of SAP, USA, they develop any app which makes the world inclusive, we try to promote that. So we're trying to reverse the table. What we could not do for so many years, why can't we do now? So it's basically focusing more on awareness, more on inclusivity, more on reaching the people, and sustainability not of the organization, but sustainability of the concept, of the idea, of the approach. It's a difficult task, but that's what we have started doing.
So that's very interesting because you are actually taking up capacity building of other NGOs and other organizations, which is going beyond just your beneficiaries, but making it possible for them to do whichever group that they look at. So that's fascinating. Also, I think your idea of the museum and the whole idea of creating a vision in the dark is a path-breaking idea in terms of getting people who don't have that experience to actually have that experience as well. So I think that's fascinating as well.
So glad.
Also, one other question, and we will possibly wind up very soon, but this whole question of succession planning. So how do you, because it is a known vulnerability not only in the social impact sector but across organizations, So how has the organization been planning for sustainability beyond your tent? That's
Should
not
have been
my
the first question, because that's the problem with most of the organization. And I'm very honored and very pleased, and I take a lot of pride. My bosses, my mentors were very good at creating the succession plan. When Jagdish Patel was only 50, he brought in me, brought in Nandini, brought in Vimal, brought in many other people, Harish Panchal, Bharat Joshi, Neharika Desai, Arindam, Dharmendra, and all were groomed to be the leaders of tomorrow. So what we did, in fact, when we come in the first row, is myself, Nandini Rawal, Vimal Thamani. We are the three directors along with our trustees, Raju Vaisham, and etc. Other trustees, Rohit Bhai. So what we have done is, in our lifetime, we have created a group of deputy directors. We were three, they are five. And they all five are very well qualified, very well meaning. They all have been trained abroad. They all have very good family background. Three are doctorate, others are postgraduate. And Dharmendra has 4 postgraduates.
wow.
Bharat has 6 degrees. He has
Wow.
been to, and it is Kinnari has been to Syracuse in USA, did a study on human rights. So Arindam is from Shanti Niketan. Dharmendra is a very well accomplished person from the field of management. So within our lifetime, we already have created a group of people who are going to take the organization further. And I'm very honored to tell you, they're more efficient, they're more effective, they're more educated than we were at that time. And most important, their families are also working with us. In fact, we have seen that they are not the one, their spouses also work with us. So they are now the family people who are working with us. And I must tell you, all of them are very, very, and they all have different background. They're from different regions of the country. They have very, very diverse background. Somebody has gone to USA, others has gone to UK, third has gone to Shanti Niketan, and they all are now they are all deputy directors. And the good part is, to take the logic further, we have the third line also ready. We have the group of people who are now called them chief coordinators, managers, or they are the campus managers. And again, most of them have been sent to USA, to Perkins, or to other institutes. They have been well motivated, and they are being trained by the masters in the field. We invite people, for example, Akhil Paul, who heads Sense India now, was groomed by us to become a head of an international organization based in India. Mir Joshi is handling the mental health program. Jigna is handling the development program. Krupa, Deepa, and all of them are very, very well qualified people. So even after the second line, third line is ready. And we are very fortunate, as I mentioned earlier, I repeat, that God is with us. God is watching us and sending us very good group of people who are very well meaning. And I'll be failing in my duty if I don't tell you one thing. All the people I mentioned, there are many, many more people in that. Even our principals they've done their PhDs and they're well accomplished in their field. All these people, apart from having their mandate or managing their projects, they are fundraisers also.
Okay.
Which is very rare for any NGO. Mostly they have a fundraising department. They say no, that's the concern of fundraising department, not of everybody. In my case, in case of BPA, in our case, everybody, right from the watchman to the president of this institute, everybody has involvement in resource mobilization. I don't say it's money, it's sometimes the resources. So that has made us very different. For example, we do have a division called fundraising division for accounting purpose and for sending the appeals. But right from my executive director to my project director to my president to my director projects, from project manager, everybody contributes for resource mobilization, and that makes a very big difference. And thirdly, lastly, and very important, all of them speak the same language. All of them have a great sense of dedication. And fortunately for us, we do not have interpersonal conflicts. We do not take out the swords and come on the ground and settle the score. We have very high levels of respect for each other. We use the term BPA family. I mean, it's like a large family, and we use the second term and keep BPA shining. And if you see media, every day we are in the media in one or other. If you see our social media, we are very powerful. If you see our resource mobilization, we are the powerful organization. If you our fund management, we are known for that. In statutory compliance, we should be given an award with so many staff members, so many complicated things. We have no court cases pending. We have only one case in income tax that is also sorted out. Organization having such a large setup and not having any, legal proceedings or the legal cases, I think is the grace of God. The teamwork which has made it different. Now, I like to just mention one thing.
Yes.
We are a classical example. You can do the good work if you have the good people, good intentions, good spirits, and good lookout, and you work as a team, which BPA has very justifiably proved that we can work as a team, we can grow as a team, we can stay together as a team. We are not here to fight each other or to settle our score. We are here to achieve the same target of reaching people with disabilities, which to great extent we are achieving.
Wonderful. So how do you take care of yourself with everything that you do? You're still smiling. You're always generous. You're willing to give your time, your effort. You're on the boards of some for-profit companies. So how do you take care of yourself? What's your secret?
Yeah, first of all, it came out of choice. I wanted to come and I did that. So I never have regrets. What money I would have got elsewhere or what I lost. I only think at what I gained. Second thing, I believe in yoga and meditation. I start the day with yoga and meditation. That keeps me going. And thirdly, I look at the positivism. I look at the positive part of the people, not at the negative. And fourthly, I have a mechanism to overcome my anger or overcome my, some sort of a depressing thoughts or some failures by finding solace in what good we have done. And it's always good to smile at the things than to frown at the things. And fourthly, I've got very good family background. My family, my wife was a lawyer in the High Court. She was additional public prosecutor. Daughter is also a lawyer, and they are very, very supportive and very, I should say, decent people. My whole BPA family is very supportive. That's why even today, when I'm talking to you, I work morning 10 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. My office closes at 8:30, and Sunday also I'm there till 4 o'clock. But it's not the work which is a burden. Is the accomplishment, is the achievement, is the what little you are doing and which is showing the results, keeps you going. Only thing is, most of us, with the grace of God, have been having great health. And I must tell you, most of us are very blessed people. God believes in our strength and gives us more strength so that we can continue doing the good work. And we should be always grateful to people who are, making our day bright, enabling us to do the good things. And that spirit, the missionary zeal, that you're not working for gains, you're working for a cause. You're not working for the profits, you're working for bringing smiles to other people, keeps us going very well.
Very nice, very nice. So heartening to hear you say all this. Any last thoughts that you want to share? Thank you very much for your time, but anything that you would like to share in the end?
Yeah, I just want to tell the people who are listening me or may listen later on, don't always think of yourself. Don't think what you have achieved. Don't think what you have gained. Don't think what car you use and what house you have and what family you have and what balance you have. Always think what you have done for others. Have you justified your life by doing something good for the people who need you? Look around. There are a lot of people who are not as fortunate as you are. A little helping hand, a little support, a little guidance will make a difference to the lives of many people. Let's not always think about ourselves. Think about the whole environment and try to do our small bit. We cannot change the world, but we can become the beginner of making some change in the lives of many people. So the moment you come out of the temptation of having a large portfolio, large investment in the plots and the lands and the buildings and the vehicles, and you invest your time, energy, efforts in goodness of the people, things will change. Sabko do roti khana hai. You can eat more than what is required. Why not to do something which gives you intrinsic gains, which gives you intrinsic pleasure, which makes you happy, which makes you smile. If I see A girl says, I won the silver medal in Japan Paralympic and today I'm the assistant director. If I see my student, she says, oh sir, I got medal in chess and today I'm the Taluka Development Officer of Ahmedabad. That makes your day, that makes your life, and you feel you live for some cause, some definite goal. Right. Everybody lives for oneself. Right. Start living for others. That'll make a difference.
Thank you so much for your time and your words of wisdom. Hopefully we will all be able to learn from it and grow from it. But thank you, and we just wish you and BPA family the best, and hope to continue to learn and be inspired by you. Thank you.